Okay, the lights have been dimmed because we don't know who's going to be picked for the ace match. Even though it's kind of already over, we're going to have the ace match anyways. SKT versus KT. Oh, surprise.
Well, it's exactly what everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
Bisu against FlaSh.
I was hoping for Go Rush against Hoja, but
that would have been a good one as well.
I can dream. Now,
I think that those two off-racing TVT would have been the ultimate, truly. That would have been a match.
Okay, so Bisu versus FlaSh. Both these guys have been around for so long. This would have been a matchup that would have been amazing at any time here in StarCraft history, frankly, since these guys have been so dominant in so much of this. But now, I mean, Bisu's looking to be in great shape. I've been following his stream pretty heavily.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess FlaSh, of course, is always supposed to be the favorite, but I think Bisu could absolutely take a game
Best
off of
of
FlaSh.
one? Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. You give them a big series, it's probably not going to end in Bisu's favor, but best of one? Oh, man. It should be a good game. Now, the map is, of course, Circuit Breakers. So that is a very macro-oriented map. It's very comfortable for playing a longer game, for defending everything.
Yeah.
The layouts of the bases are really good overall. So I don't know that anyone can really kill each other early on here.
I would say probably not. If somebody does kill somebody early, it's probably a Protoss killing a Terran if they do something pretty tricky. Although I just don't think Bisu's going to go for that.
Probably not.
Now, Terrans, unless you're both sharing like the bottom or the top, Terrans tend to get the fourth pretty easily here. So, that...
Look how good the stats are on this map.
Oh,
I actually had no idea that they were that good for all the matchups.
Yeah, it's actually
just
more
very
even
good.
than I thought, yeah. So one thing for the Protoss is they can either try to macro even harder or try to break the Terran, assuming that the Terran goes for a 4-base play, which is probably, the 4-base play is probably the most
it's
orthodox
very
way
common,
to play this
very
map.
normal. It's so comfortable to take it unless you're horizontal spawns.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think you can really break Terran here. It's like the Terran has to screw up, and that's not something FlaSh is going to do. So I think you have to play a prolonged game or a very cheesy game. And very cheesy doesn't normally work against FlaSh. So I think that this is an opportunity for Bisu to show us what his macro looks like.
Yeah, and he's been macroing really well. I do get to catch his stream from time to time. And, he's just all around such a solid player. He really is the Protoss that can kind of do everything. He tends to not cheese very much, by the way. He prefers to just almost play like he's a Zerg. As a Terran player, just get a little bit further ahead. I'm sorry, as a Protoss player, he plays kind of like a Zerg. He just wants to get further and further ahead. He plays PvZ like he's a Terran player trying to push. Anyways, we're out of time. Let's go to the final match. Bisu versus FlaSh. Probably going to be our best match of the night.
This crowd is lit, fam.
It is lit, my friend. My fam. Hello, fellow kids.
No, I can. Yeah, totally tasteless.
Just saying this while holding a skateboard and having a backwards baseball cap on. So, here we go.
So,
FlaSh.
cross spawns. Well, it means a lot. First off,
all the faces.
Oh man. Yeah. So, anyways, cross spawns, yes. Excuse me. Generally, you're not really going to be able to rush each other. For instance, if Bisu goes Nexus first, FlaSh is not going to SCV Marine rush that. It kind of gives you a very comfortable opening. It looks like with that pylon placement, it'll just be a forward gate with some Zealot pressure. But again, FlaSh's base is so far away in these cross spawns that it's even less likely to really do much.
This is one of the PvT builds that's always intrigued me. Because it's actually really old.
Oh, the forward gate?
The forward gate. A lot of times you'd see it on the older maps where the pylon would be on the high ground, but it was always the idea of like, well, it's closer, but not that much closer. But it kind of offers a wall in here, and pressure can be very strong.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I mean, a Zealot rush of any type, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that that's incredibly strong against Terran. So, of course, that's why it's an old strategy. The first guy who ever looked at the game was like, oh, this is good. and it still is.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of times people thought it was going to go out of style, but this is actually one that Bisu uses pretty regularly and pretty effectively.
Yeah, it's a good opener. It's just like the first Zealot, I don't want to see him wasted. Like,
yeah.
The thing is, like, even if you get like 2 Marines with it, the Terran's still okay. You got to do more than that if you're going to lose it.
It also depends on what the Terran's doing, right? Like, some Terrans do like to go really quick CC on this map. And if you get the Zealot over there and you start to do damage, that's a real headache. But in this case, he's going for gas, so I know it's very, very early to really try to call this an edge either way, but...
No, yeah,
you know,
it's definitely not an edge either way right now.
Right, but I actually like this a little bit better for Terran.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I don't think
the thing is, I think
there's
nothing wrong with what Bisu's doing. It's just he's not going to get any damage done with it realistically. Oh, look at that. We got Nyokin and Rapid over there.
Yeah, it's completely packed down here too. It filled up right when we got in. So exciting. Such a good start to the year. So much more StarCraft, everything to come still. After our long hiatus, by the way.
Yeah, very long. All right, another Zealot coming down. So 2 Zealots being made, and there should be a 3rd on the way based on the timing of that Cybernetics core. This is kind of a nice thing. The Marine was baited out kind of far. Good micro from Bisu, but FlaSh on top of targeting that down. So here we see what Bisu can really get done. That was actually, I liked that Zealot movement to get in front of the SCV to get the extra hit, but now he's maybe going to take too much damage on the Zealot.
Yeah,
can't really do much.
Zealot with no shields against 3 Marines has to run.
Yeah.
Now the second Zealot's up here, and there's actually a 3rd one coming as well. So 3 Zealots. We got to see if there's going to be an add-on, by the way, at the factory. Oh, really good body blocking. Yeah. Oh my God, really good targeting too.
Dude, I was telling you, his SCV micro is just the best, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Like, even that little bit of body blocking, if you don't get that done, those 2 Zealots actually beat the 4 Marines. But great control there from FlaSh. It looks like he'll probably throw a bunker down immediately. And
there's a vulture being made.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to sneak a vulture out right away. Most likely, he'll go directly into mines from here. Because your Dragoon range is going to be so late with all these Zealots being made.
Okay, so with the Dragoon out and not really any damage done, I mean, the Terran wasn't really slowed down here. Does a Zealot want to try to just run in the main and confirm what's happening? Is that the idea here?
The Zealot?
Oh, he turned around.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You have to check if the command center's on the way, just to make sure.
This is an opener for Protoss in general that just confuses me. I don't have a good handle on it. I feel like the Protoss would be massively uncomfortable here.
Well, you have played in a way that's kind of forced a bunker. You definitely don't know exactly what he's doing. Any attacking builds are weaker because it's cross map. But that's about it. Ooh, he's not going to get out. Oh, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Half of a millisecond from shooting another shot there. Now this is the mind game of where do you walk the Vulture, because this Dragoon's trying to do the intercept. And FlaSh knows it's out there. This is actually a legitimate mind game that we're watching.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Oh, he's so good. It's crazy.
So crazy. Okay, he's coming back now. As the Terran, especially, you don't want to lose any units needlessly. It's really easy to lose a Vulture, especially against Dragoons. 6 shots from a Dragoon.
Well, he did skip going for the mines here or anything like that. Instead, continuing
just
to
getting
tech
siege
up a
mode then, or just getting extra factories?
No, yeah, you get siege mode as late as you possibly can in this matchup. It's one of the most important things. But just a very regular play. It looks like, I believe that this was after the expansion, Academy Factory Armory, which has come into vogue a little bit recently. And I can't really tell you why. It's a very complicated build. I've only seen really Light doing it. But everything looks pretty clean for FlaSh, right? Like, he's got everything together. Bisu is putting together his tech, getting his observer out now. FlaSh gets that scan off and sees exactly what's up. Now, I would be surprised if he doesn't go for a third base from here.
Bisu.
FlaSh.
But probably Bisu I think they're both going to have to do it.
Yeah.
You can... Okay, he's going to go for a Reaver here. And that's to try to keep the Terran as honest as possible, really forcing a lot of turrets out and just keeping them from not having to defend anything and macro up as quickly as possible is pretty scary. That's a pretty crazy scan.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice one because a lot of Protosses do hide tech there, and also you'll see if they have a third up. Yeah,
it really covers a lot of different bases, right? There's so much to scanning.
Yeah, there is.
You know, where to do it, when to do it. And so very nicely handled here by FlaSh to start things off. Now, remember, they're in cross spots, which usually leads to the most intense macro games. Directionally, the Protoss can both expand towards the upper left and try to secure the lower right. It's not easy because the Terran is a little bit more limited on options. Generally, the Terran always snakes its way down towards the bottom, towards 6 o'clock here, control stuff. You know, it can be tricky for the Terran, though. Even though the Terran gets that fourth early on, this is a wide open area for the Protoss to really try to take and exploit. I'm wondering, do you get shuttle speed here? What is your take on this?
I think that it is mostly just up to the player. I think that against FlaSh in this situation, I would probably skip shuttle speed. You're not likely to really do damage to him. I think shuttle speed, you can outplay players with it. But if you're playing against a one player that can't really be outplayed, what's the point? Do you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. One thing to note, too, is that if you see shuttle play on this map, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's worth watching for. A lot of players go for bust. They try to actually just crack the Terran open as they're taking the 4 bases, as the Terran snakes towards 6 o'clock. Yeah. I don't know that that's going to be the best way to play, but especially if we see shuttle speed, usually the game builds into enough tension that the Protoss tries to come in here and dismember the Terran in that way. Okay, a little bit of a late transfer, actually, over this expansion, and very fortunately timed Vultures come in here to hit these probes that are going to come through here.
Yeah, really well timed out there from FlaSh, and he does get a few of them, loses the Vultures. That's all right, though. I think he's going to go 4th base here, like you were kind of mentioning before.
One thing about going 4th base, if you're sending Vultures out, is a counterattack by the Protoss can kill you sometimes.
Yeah, if you keep them a little bit busy, do a bit of harassment, then it's a lot harder for them to really put together that army. And also, you see FlaSh just scan there. He saw the timing of the Citadel. That should make him completely confident. And look at how he's placing his turrets. He knows that the only thing he's weak to right now is speed shuttles flying over turrets into his main base.
Right.
That is literally the only thing that can damage him. This was,
here we
like,
go.
He is perfectly reading this. And he sees the 2 shuttles. That once you see that there are 2, you play it completely differently. Look at this. He's pulling back a bit. He's adding more turrets. He's spreading out some mines to slow the Dragoons when they come in as well. This is like... the strategy from Bisu is absolutely not a bad thing to try, a bad thing to do, but FlaSh is just pairing it perfectly with his amazingly well-timed scans.
And from the Protoss's position, if you don't engage the Terran correctly in any kind of bust play early on, you usually lose. You can't just attack it. If you don't trade favorably, then you're giving up any momentum you have.
The thing is, he doesn't have to attack and suicide all his units.
Right. But if he does.
Yeah, he's got his 4th started before FlaSh has his 4th started, so that's at least something. I don't think that there is any realistic possibility of Bisu doing real damage here. Maybe, like, what if he cancels the 4th? That's a nice move. I don't think he can even do that, though. I think FlaSh is just sewn up tight. It's just, this map is very hard to break people on.
And in some sense, it's almost like FlaSh would prefer that Bisu attacked in here, because I think that would go very well for him. Yeah. But you can see, you know, Bisu being very patient. He was hemming and hawing about engaging there, and it seems like he's going to back off. We may have a 5th base taken here as well.
Yeah, no, he definitely should take the 5th. Once you realize that your opponent's taking the 4th here as FlaSh, you absolutely must take your 5th base. There's, like, what else are you doing? You want to be even bases with FlaSh? Oh, no, this is not a good idea.
Oh!
Not a good idea.
I think that was the one with the Reavers.
I don't know. Yeah, could be.
Usually you lead with the one with the Zealots, so let's see. Yeah, that is the Reaver one, thank God. He does come in here, and... Oh. Wow,
hey!
Okay, good shot there. Gets the tank.
That
was good targeting. And the SCVs, a few at least.
Okay, so I guess it died.
I don't know. Unfortunately,
I don't know what's
we
going
can't
on.
actually see that part of the map.
I don't see green.
That
so
part of the screen is covered up by the map. So, and I don't see scarabs coming out. So something killed.
I don't see the teal color. So I think it died somehow. Okay. Well, that definitely was not like good. I don't know how else to put this. That was not a great move. That's why FlaSh put the turrets up, because players love to do moves like that. Okay, here comes the 5th base now, but it is a little bit late. FlaSh is going to max very quickly from here. He's going to get his 2-1 very quickly from here, and he is going to be deadly with that.
At this point in time, Bisu, he didn't quite trade enough to make that attack efficient, especially with FlaSh already having a 4th. Bisu still has a supply lead. He's macroing very well. But we know that FlaSh's plan is ultimately to have a very strong upgraded army. +2 attack, +1 armor is already done. And that means that +3 attack, +2 armor is coming here.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So, I mean... That was a really cool drop, and it actually worked.
It didn't quite work.
And now there's no way to break in.
Wow.
Basically, there's so many mines there that it's hard to actually thrust through with the Zealots and break that spot.
But sometimes if you get one there, if any of the mines blow up, all the mines will blow up.
Right, and then suddenly you've opened up a point where you can start to access that and attack that. Now,
it was a good attempt.
As FlaSh is continuing to deflect pretty much every attack that Bisu has, inevitably FlaSh is going to peak and max out here, and that's when we're going to have a counter push. Now, Bisu's expanding in probably the most conservative pattern you could ever imagine. He's also keeping everything tightly tight together here so that there's no easy way to separate and disjoint the army here of Bisu. So I'm not sure what the easiest point is for FlaSh to push. He'll probably push through either the upper left side and hit that mineral only, or try to chop the position in half by pushing towards the main, probably towards the 3rd, but in that general direction.
No, this is what you're completely right about. Like, the mineral only that Bisu chose to take, this is him basically stating he can keep FlaSh on FlaSh's side of the map. But what FlaSh's plan is here, and you can see it by his 5th command center starting, he will push out slowly, take his 5th base at 9 o'clock, and cut the map in half. And as soon as he cuts it in half, he kills all the bases at 12 o'clock and to the left. Those bases will become basically free. He can send up very few units and just knock them out. And look at this. He has a gigantic tank count now as well.
Now, it's important that FlaSh not just attacks, but tries to box Bisu's army back towards his own base, because Bisu is going to be very reliant on counterattacking. And counterattacking is actually not as easy on this map. There's not as many convenient locations to try to run through. So he sees where the army is. Most of it's going to spill. That's a bad...
yeah, he's wasting like 1,000 minerals of Zealots right there.
That one misclick, 1,000 minerals gone. Like it never even happened. He needs to try to control this army's position. He wants to take a fight, and what Bisu wants to do is force FlaSh to siege up and then run around and hit another location. And as that's happening, Bisu's making ideally more gates in the upper left, but also just expanding and getting control of the map. And he's going to try to outlast FlaSh.
Yeah, but you see we're both getting huge banks. Look at the amount of factories that FlaSh has right now. He has like 10 going on 11 facts, I believe I just saw. So he's going to be able to remax so quickly. He's spreading so perfectly, coming out just quickly enough. He's going to float over, take that 5th base. Bisu sees this all happening, but what do you do against it?
Yeah,
very tough.
It's hard. And you look at the patience of FlaSh here. This is really why he's such a great T.E.N player. He's not pushing it, right? You can see Bisu wants to go around. There's not really anywhere to easily go around. We don't have a shot of 6 o'clock, but I can guarantee you it's walled off with depots, covered with some siege tanks, and turrets are there with mines. Very hard to break.
Yeah.
And as FlaSh is both pushing north, he's expanding, and it's covered. This is such graceful end game here from FlaSh.
Yes, he's playing a beautiful game, no doubt. Misses the EMP.
Yeah.
Big moment for Bisu.
Yeah, the spells that come from the Arbiter are so important. And the fact that he didn't quite get that the EMPs that he needed is very huge.
In a situation like this, if you hit EMP on their only Arbiter, you feel like you've won the game.
Right. He does get a stasis.
Okay, he should only kill the front 4 tanks and run. He needs to turn around right now. He needs to turn around. He has to turn around.
Yeah, that's a...
He waited way too... Like, if he had turned around exactly when I said there, he has like 8 more goons right now. But you see he stays like even a second too long, and the tanks will eat your line. And that was all based off the stasis. Like the stasis wasn't a fantastic stasis, but it did make 4 of those tanks easy to pick off.
So, the push continues on now, and I don't know that there's any real way for Bisu to recover. That attack that we saw back there is basically, in this type of a PvT, the most important part of the game is how does the Protoss handle this. Artosis was basically 100% right. When you see that attack, you do the damage and then you run back out and you re-macro out of the gate.
Yeah.
So, Bisu didn't quite execute it perfectly. Now he's maxed out again, but already FlaSh is hammering the 3 o'clock base here. These probes are isolated, probably going to get killed. And FlaSh, is, as he's remaxed out here, it seems like he has an answer for any type of counterattack.
Yeah, and he's got a gigantic bank. This is very scary. Bisu has to run around a lot right now. The one thing he's doing really well is adding gates in top left and adding things in bottom right. So he needs to be expanding kind of everywhere at once right now. It's very important.
Okay, so we see you know, at least saving the position, although he didn't have time to save the Nexus, but I'm worried the virus of FlaSh is already spreading too quickly on the map here. You can see now it's going to be lights out here in the upper left quadrant as all these bases are eliminated. Maybe there's a chance that Bisu can hang on to the main, but that might be a fool's errand here. I don't know that even if he keeps the main alive and prevents FlaSh from pushing up, that this is going to be preventative enough for just FlaSh and his momentum in taking this game.
FlaSh is just doing so much work right now, killing those 2 Nexuses basically instantaneously.
We're going to have a recall here on this army. Really nice.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice recall right there. Very much like that. A lot of Zealots in it for this very tank-heavy reinforcement as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really big. That Team Matrix was so good.
That was so good.
He's going to try to clean this up, and there is actually another attack coming here. I got to say, Bisu really never fails to impress me.
Dude, yeah.
That was a really brilliant move there. And you don't want to recall and try to take out that location. Recall on the army and try to fight it that way. More Zealots come down. Don't forget there's tons of gateways in that main to hit this. The problem, though, is the lack of Nexi on the map.
Yeah.
Even though Bisu is reinforcing and attacking pretty heavily, he has about 400 minerals, where FlaSh has, he had 6,000 a little while ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, he does get a stasis off, but
the fact that FlaSh is even setting up mines right now for reinforcements,
it's pretty crazy.
He's so good. He just does more than anybody. It's wild what he can do. But of course, right now it's hard for FlaSh to really expand anywhere. Bisu does have that bottom right. That's going to be his chance, right? If he just continually holds this top left, he's retaking 12. He has the bottom right. If he can like clear this army up and slow FlaSh down a little bit, maybe there's a chance.
I hope so. I don't want this to end just yet, but this is going to be a real Hail Mary play here from Bisu if he can pull this off. He's curbing the progress. I worry, though, because FlaSh has so much gas and so many more tanks he can remake. Bisu is taking that bottom right, though, like you were saying, Artosis.
Yeah, we'll see what he gets done with. It's just, if he had, like, 1 more base this whole time, when FlaSh killed 3 bases at once, and then was like killing big chunks of army too, it makes it so you can't remax. If Bisu had 2 more bases mining, this would actually be a pretty close game right now. Bisu would be able to maintain a max at all times, have a really scary army running around. But right now, FlaSh is able to split off his army, right? Yeah. He's slowing this attack down a lot. Even if FlaSh loses that base, he can retake it.
So he's coming down now. He might be able to push his army back. Oh, actually, maybe not. You know, the Vultures, they reinforce so quick. They're such fast units.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Vultures just reinforce quick enough. Oh, my God. Is this the nail in the coffin here?
It might be,
You know, I think there's 2 gateways just north of this screenshot, but I don't know that that's enough. And GG, FlaSh, once again, if you were ever a doubter, let this remind you why he is the greatest pro gamer of all time.
He's pretty scary. That was just beautifully played from FlaSh. He basically scouted everything he needed to scout it. He countered everything well. He moved his army perfectly when coming out. His defensive play was amazing. His macro was amazing.
Yeah.
He nailed everything that game. He truly did. Like, the second Bisu misstepped, FlaSh was all over him.
Yeah.
He killed 3 Nexuses in the span of a minute.
Yeah.
Like, literally, he killed 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and that mineral only. Just insta-dead.
I wonder if Bisu could have done a better job in the early game. I mean, he played so well, but it did seem like we had a couple bumps in the road there. He tried to do some damage, didn't pay off, and similar to the other PvT we had here with FlaSh, you know, you make that mistake and it just feeds into the FlaSh engine where he comes out ultimately and is just unstoppable.
Well, here we have the final results. Only Sue, our StarCraft 2 pro gamer, was good enough to win in StarCraft 1
and now we know
tonight.
which one's the hardest game, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Really fun show match, and this is just the beginning, guys. We have so many big plans here for StarCraft in 2020. But this is a nice way to start it out, you know? We've got players who are top tier right here, right now. We're bringing back some of the old school players. You know, StarCraft is a game with so much history behind it that it's important to have show matches like this, and you know, it's fun too.
So it looks
for
like
the whole family.
looks like we have a little coach's interview here.
So it looks like we're going to be interviewing the winning coach here from KT.
상관없이 이렇게 많은 분들 앞에서 다시 옛날을 추억할 수 있다는 거에 너무 감사드리고요. 뭐 방금 감독 워낙 친해서 조금 짓궂은 장난도 했는데 그냥 장난으로 당연히 받아주실 거라고
we're both all good friends here. We're very happy we won.
개인적으로는 아직 e스포츠에 계속 종사하고 있고 여러분들에게도 계속 좋은 추억 만들어 드리도록 열심히 노력하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
He says I'm still on an esports team. So please cheer.
오늘
for me over to the SKT coach.
오늘 모발이 좀 한 10가닥은 더 빠지지 않았을까 이런 생각이 들고요. 뭐 농담이고 약간
I feel like I lost some more hairs this match.
많이 사실 몰랐는데 또 여기 경기 현장에 오니까
I never expected so many people to show up here today.
어쩔 수가 없네요. 그리고 오늘 뭐 이 자리를 마련해 주신 여러 관계자
I'm a little bit sad we couldn't play better here, obviously.
앞으로도 저희를 기억해 주시고 또다시 이런 매치가 온다면
Thank you to all the fans that came down. It really means a lot.
그때는 다음 시즌 저희가 사실 우승했거든요. 스타 1 마지막 리그를 저희가 우승을 했기 때문에 그 느낌으로 다시 돌아올 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Don't forget we were the winner of the final Starcraft 1 league.
다시 한번 말씀드립니다. 오늘 리매치를 위해서 사실 게임단의 그 구 로고 활용을 제가 할 수 있게 도움을 주셨던 KT 롤스터와 T1 게임단에게 다시 한번 감사의 말씀 전해드리도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 사실상 그 선수들도 마찬가지고 다시 말씀드리지만 감독분들도 굉장히 힘드셨을 것 같고 특히나 오늘 이 현장을
very cool. The esports night, the inaugural night here. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Definitely a type of match I'd like to see more of in the future. I hope that occurs. But definitely very cool seeing this old rivalry rekindled in a fun way.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's all the time we have, but we'll be back. Oh, we're on camera. We'll be back again soon, guys. We love you. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are, and we will see you again soon here in 2020.